All right, guys. So I just wanted to just jump on with you guys very briefly. You probably saw this morning in the community. Um, there's no secret, is it? But just a pattern that sometimes pops up from time to time. And when I do these emergency meetings, specifically this emergency meeting, I saw something that I know a lot of you guys can relate to, and even myself. And a member in NDS took three trades before midday. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, far from it. But what I'm saying is when it does lead to bad things, it can become a very big problem. There was a loss that was taken, which is a natural part of our trading journey. Then there was one break-even trade that would have hit TP, and then there was one partial stop loss because of micromanaging that then obviously ran in his direction. He's obviously in drawdown. He's mentioned that. That's no secret. But more importantly, he's reinforcing bad habits that's going to cost him long term. And as I said, this isn't about me calling anybody out. This is about me calling him out. That is my duty as his mentor. And also just to draw a lesson from this. And I really want to break this down properly. Um, if we call it what it is without mixing words, this is simply revenge trading, which is trying to get back a win after a losing trade. This is FOMO trading, not trusting the process, forcing setups early in the day. And this is micromanagement, okay? Over controlling a trade out of fear of or ego. Okay. This is also emotional attachment to past trades, using the last outcome to justify the next entry. And then clearly this is over trading. Okay, free trades before lunch. That, in my humble opinion, is not patience. That is what I would call panic in disguise. Now, there's a root issue that we can all draw lessons from in situations like this. And this is when emotion leads and logic dies. And I want to be very clear with you guys. And if you take anything away from this short message, you are not your last trade. Okay, I'll say it again. You are not your last trade. But the second that you let your last position decide how you approach the next one, you know you're no longer trading your system anymore, guys. Okay, you're trading your feelings, and that's how so many traders blow accounts. And here's what most people don't understand. The trade is already 50% decided before you even click buy or sell. And why do I say that? Well, it starts with your state, your energy, your mindset, and the emotion you're carrying into that setup. Because I'm sure a lot of us, including myself, you get that quiet little voice in your head before entering a trade. I'm sure every single one of us actually gets that quiet little voice. It could be anything. But sometimes it's that just that subtle, hmm, I'm not sure about this one. Or you find yourself double checking the same confluences over and over again. Sometimes we zoom in, we zoom out. We're forcing the setup to look right. And I'm not saying any of us are immune to that. We will ever be immune to that. But I want to be clear that when you get into this state, this isn't about you analyzing anymore. Okay. That's what we call negotiating. And if you guys have to negotiate with the trade before entering the trade, please hear me at the back. You're already too emotionally involved. And this breaks down into three deadly emotional setups. Now, we talk about FOMO, but it's so important to understand this. If you've missed the first clean move and then you decide to chase the second one because you don't want to miss it again, that is FOMOing. You entering late into a trade, justifying it with structure that doesn't exist and hoping for the best. That's FOMO trading. None of this is execution. And Instead, this is more what we call emotional compulsion. The second thing is revenge trading, guys. You take a loss, now you want to get it back. We all go through this. Thinking and feeling it is completely fine because it's a natural occurrence when we lose a trade at times. But what happens is when you allow it to affect your actions, you're no longer asking the right questions. Does this setup match my plan? You're asking, can I fix this now? Can I fix this right now? And when the reason for your trades is to fix an emotion, you've already lost. Did I say that clearly? And when your reason to take another trade or revenge trade is to fix your emotion, you've already lost. The last thing is self doubt. Let's say you've had a few break evens, you've had a loss, you're second guessing everything at the stage, right? Even the cleanest of setups are starting to affect you. You start hesitating, then you enter the trade late, then you manage it out of fear, all because you're measuring your current trade by past results and not present logic. And you have to be aware of this. Because the truth is this, guys, every single one of your best trades, be it win or lose, is going to come from clarity and not from pressure. It's going to come from alignment and not urgency. And ultimately, it's going to come from confidence in your plan, in your process, and not confidence in the outcome. So you're going to know the best time to execute when it matches your rules, when you're emotionally neutral, you don't feel rushed, you're not desperate. If it, the decision to take that trade is a full body yes. There's no maybes, no ifs, no buts, no let's just see. If you can tick all three of those, if then that's when the trade exists. If you can't tick all of those, don't press the button because there is no reward for us, guys, in almost certain. Where did I hear it today about certainty? Oh, something I was studying. Okay. There is no reward for almost certain. There is only consequences. And if you want to face the consequences, then you're going to enter a very, very slippery slope. Because unfortunately, if you're not protecting your energy, one bad day is going to become a bad week. And a bad week is going to become a bad month. And a bad month is going to become a bad quarter, and so on and so forth. And this is this right here is what destroys most traders. And they don't even see it happening, guys, because it's not the one bad trade and it's not the one bad loss. It's what that one moment triggers in you. And it starts very, very small. You take a trade that you knew wasn't clean. You didn't follow your rules, but you got away with it. That win feels good, but it's toxic because now you're teaching your brain that breaking the process is okay. And then what happens next time it happens? It gets easier. And then eventually it becomes your norm. And just like that, guys, your trading no longer becomes based on discipline anymore, following your plan anymore. It becomes based on emotion, reaction, and improvision. Or maybe it could be the total opposite. I don't know. You follow your plan, you take the a clean loss, and instead of reviewing it, you panic, you start questioning the system, you hop onto the next setup, try to make it back. That wasn't even revenge trading. It may sound like it, and it's easy to just brush it off as it is, but that was the result of not accepting the process in the first place. And this is how it spirals. This is how the snowball effect gets triggered. One trade outside of your plan becomes two. 2 days of emotional trading becomes five. One slip becomes a slide, and then now you're not the trader who journals, who logs and follows rules, right? You're the trader who just wants to feel better in the moment. And the thing about this slope, it's silent. It doesn't feel like sabotage because it's disguised as urgency, hustle, and fixing it. But what you're not understanding is just you abandoning the version of you that was just about to win. So we've got to all have this mindset shift. No one is immune to this. But the way you shift this immediately is understanding, accepting discipline isn't about perfection. Discipline is about interruption. Okay? So it starts with noticing when you're slipping and then catching it early. It's about having self awareness to just stop for a minute and just say, nah, I don't accept this. This isn't the process. My physiology doesn't feel right. This is just me reacting in the moment. Let me reset, let me review, and then let me start leading again. Because trading isn't about never messing up, guys. It's about how you realign when you do. So the lesson I want you to take away from this, guys, is structure is going to save you because everything that we've talked about, the emotional disciplines, the micromanaging, the overtrading, the drawdowns, it all happens when structure breaks down. And structure is the guardrail between you and chaos. And it's what's going to protect you from these situations. So here's what I want you guys to walk away from today. Not just a reminder, but I want this to become your standard. Stick to your process. You don't need to trade every concept. You don't need to take every trade. You just need to master one system and learn how to execute it with discipline long enough to see the results. That system should tell you when to trade, how much to risk, and what to do once you're in. So that there's no freestyling, no more gut calls. You just let your edge do the work and not your emotions. For me, this is the most important thing as well. You've got to just take trades that you feel aligned with, period. I don't care what anybody else says out there. The technical side, we can fix this in 5 to 10 minutes for every single one of you. That part is fine. And I don't want to just pin this down onto your mental and emotional state every single time. But for this emergency meeting, this behavior is specifically tied to mental and emotional. Mental and emotional. Yes, mental and emotional. So I want every one of you to just take heed of this part specifically. Only take trades that feel aligned with you mentally, emotionally, and then technically. Because a setup may look great from a technical perspective, but if your head's all over the place or you're still thinking about the last trade, then you are not aligned. And the best trades come when everything is in sync. When you're calm, when you're clear, when you're confident in the structure. Because if you're rushed, if you're unsure, if you're forcing your trades, then you are not aligned. You are just anxious. And an anxious trader or anxious trades trader is going to cost you accounts. And then just the cherry on top, never trade to fix the last result, man. Because this one is massive. The market doesn't care about your last trade. The market doesn't owe you anything. If your entry is based on trying to make back a loss or keep the streak alive, then you've already lost your edge. Because your job as a trader is not to recover. Your job is to execute trade by trade, day by day, week by week, month by month, with zero attachment to what just happened. So I need you to detach from the outcome and attach to the process. How do you do that? Don't chase and don't force and don't fold. If the trade is gone, let it go. If the setup isn't perfect, skip it, right? If you already had a couple losing trades, then log it, move on, come back tomorrow. Because most of your wins, guys, they're going to come from patience, and they're most definitely not going to come from pressure. And you have to continue to remind yourself the market will always be there, but your edge, your capital, your confidence, those only stick around when you protect them. So if you slip and you start to slide, pause, reset, recalibrate, and don't allow this to spiral out of control. Protect yourself. Stop being so hard with yourself. Remind yourself that you're human. Mistakes are going to happen. But the most important thing off the back of those mistakes is what you do after them. Because one broken rule doesn't ruin your trading career, guys. Neither does free trades like this today. What does is ignoring the broken rule. So you've just got to learn to take the L, breathe, journal, reset, and come back. And that is how you're going to start building consistency. Okay? So just remember, guys, the market is not going to reward the perfect trader. In actual fact, they don't even exist. It is going to reward the trader who shows up with structure, who shows up with clarity, and who shows up with composure over and over and over and over and over again. So I want for those that are going through this and who will go through this in the future, because no one is going to be immune to it, stop letting your last trade dictate the next decision. I need you to start leading with your plan and let the market follow your lead. And this is what's going to separate those who survive from those who scale. Because you cannot become consistent, you cannot become a consistent trader with inconsistent behaviors. You cannot lead yourself by constantly chasing redemption for the last trade, the last week, the last mistake that you made. That version of you guys, the one that forces it, who's continuing to doubt it, who's continuing to to doubt the process, who spirals out of control every single time there's a hiccup, he's done for. And I need this conversation to be the day that it's done for you as well. Because from this point moving forward, we're on the 90-day challenge. We need to lock into our process. We need to trust our system. We need to manage our state, protect our energy. And every trade you take is just a full yes, or you don't enter at all. We need to clear the noise. We need to manage our emotional decisions, and there needs to be no more weak leadership. Okay, we need to lead ourselves better. We've got to own our energy before every trade, guys. We've got to own our results, regardless if we win or lose. You've got to own the identity that you guys are stepping into. And this is the shift, guys, that we're working towards in the next 90 days. This is the new standard. This is NDS. And I need every single one of you guys to hold the friggin' line. Okay? Before we close, though, I just want to just take a moment to just recognize the entire NDS community, man. I was so taken back by every single one of you that's locked into this 90-day challenge. And for me, this already illustrates, or it's just this already shows that you've already separated yourself from the masses, especially when you make a decision that most traders never will. And that is to rebuild habits, to lead yourself, guys, to stop chasing and start becoming the standard. And that's what matters. Okay? This journey isn't going to be easy, but understand that nothing great ever is. And the truth is, everything great is achievable when you just show up with discipline, consistency, and patience. Okay, just remember that. I just want to say massive love to everybody, guys. I want to say a big, big congrats to Adriano for absolutely crushing his challenge this week, getting funded as well. My man set the tone. Now I want all of us to follow in suit, guys. And man, his journey has been one hell of a journey. But this is just the beginning, not only for him, but for all of us. All right. Have a powerful weekend ahead, guys. Get some good rest. Have some good, honest reflection time. Come back ready to dominate next week. Okay. For now, peace out and take good care of yourselves. Bye for now.